Namaskar. The other day after collective meditation, some of us were discussing things that help us in meditation. And a friend of mine said that there was a phrase that he was thinking about that was helping him a lot. And the phrase was, more Baba, less Arjun. And I thought about that. I simplified it into a simple phrase, more you, less me. More you meaning the divine. And I started, I enjoyed it. I felt it had something, and I started focusing on it more when I was doing my meditation. And I found that it really came down to the heart of the matter of what we are trying to do when we meditate. We are trying to expand our sense of the divine, and so that it takes up the whole picture. And in order for the feeling of the divine to occupy everything, then the little circle which is occupied by ego or me has to shrink. And the more it shrinks, the more that space is opened up to one's experience of the divine. So essentially, we are on the one hand expanding, and on the other hand shrinking. We're doing two things at the same time, and both of them are intimately related to each other. So, if you have a big picture and you've got a big circle in the middle of it, let's say the main color is purple and the circle is yellow. As you shrink the yellow circle, it creates more and more purple, more and more space. And when that yellow circle finally shrinks down to nothing, then you have an entirely purple canvas. And that's what we're trying to achieve in meditation. It is, our preoccupation with thoughts, things, body, desires that make less space available for the thought of the divine, for the experience of the divine. So as we shrink those, make them less and less and less, our experience of the divine is expanded. But it's a little bit more than that. When we say more you, more divine, we're not just, giving space by shrinking our ego. We are also exploring the boundaries, more sense of the infinite, our sense of the vastness of the divine. We should be, when we're meditating, we're trying to expand that. As I've said in previous videos, when we think of something infinite, we probably think of something big, but not that big actually. So pushing those boundaries, expanding our sense of the divine in the sense of permanence also, like it was always there, it will always be there, having that sense of, which is such a different quality to almost everything else we think of, which is limited and temporary. So exploring our sense of the infinite and the eternal and expanding. So more you means that, right? It's not just what happens from less me. So on the one hand, we're vigorously expanding our boundaries, and at the very same time, we are vigorously shrinking the space in the center of the picture occupied by the ego until ideally it's nothing at all. So we have this total expanse of the divine, which is also growing. Right? So that's the idea. I feel in a simple 4-word phrase, it really captures the essence of what we're trying to do in meditation, especially if you have learned Ananda Marga meditation and you're centering your meditation in a chakra. Right? So that chakra is that center point, and it's getting smaller and smaller and more pinpointed right? And the idea of the divine surrounding that chakra is expanding. So I'm sharing this beautiful phrase by Arjun, and which I'm finding very helpful, and I'm sure if you experiment with it, you might find something there too. Namaskar.